What's good, y'all? It's your man DJ PLAYBOY back in the building for another episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast. You know, man, I like to do no episode without my dog, Keith. But of course, man, he couldn't make it. I got my man in the building, man, back again. My man SPEC. What it do, brother?
Yo. Glad to be here.
Of course, man. My man SPEC holding it down as usual. What you been up to, man? How's life?
Man, same old work. You know how it goes.
Work, sleep, work again.
Work, sleep, work.
Oh man, bro, I might have told. I think I told you offline, but I quit coffee, and it's my first week going off the sauce. Well, caffeine, I should say, because I haven't been drinking Red Bull or nothing either. It's been a rough one. It's been interesting.
Congrats to you.
Yeah,
better you than me, because
I had to.
My shit.
Yeah, how much coffee you drink a day?
I drink. 2 cups, but a cup is relative to the individual. So, I don't know how many ounces that is.
I got you. But like a cup like this. Oh, shout out to the Perfect Talk merch cups. Like cup like that size?
Yeah, something like this.
Okay.
2 of these a day, 1 in the morning. Well, all right. So, I'd say maybe 2.5 of these a day.
Okay.
Morning, midday, and evening.
Okay. Wait, so 3?
I said half because the midday I only take a few sips.
Oh, you don't go full coffee?
Right.
Okay, I got you. All right, makes sense. Yeah. Nah, I was drinking like little travel, like thermos size, you know what I'm saying, joint. I was drinking about 1.5 of those a day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then, like let's say I had to record or that night or something like that, like me and Show would do like a recording session. I'll definitely be pounding like a Red Bull. And then let's say, you know, my girl come over after that, like, you know what I'm saying, probably pound another Red Bull, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I looked at myself and I was drinking probably more caffeine than water, you know what I mean? And yo, shout out, we I know it's been a long time since we recorded. Shout out to Keith. Me and Keith recorded last week and the audio just couldn't, it wasn't working out, you know what I'm saying? It messed up on his end, it messed up on my end, so it wasn't meant to be. Usually I try to splice together the best episode if you know, something like that happens, but there was nothing that could be done. And it was off the heels of me getting sick. I was out there in Newburgh. Shout out to Ayo Niche, Perfect Talk alumni. You know what I mean? She had me DJing for her last weekend in Newburgh. I had a great time, bro. It was the time of my life. But literally, after the second performance, done. Stomach crazy. I couldn't operate. I couldn't do nothing, bro. It was just, my stomach just felt like a rock was in there. And then even by the time like I got to the bathroom and do what I had to do, I still felt like the rock was in there for the entire night, bro. It was nuts. So it just made me like rethink, like, I don't know, like I want to just rethink. I turned 38 like 2 weeks ago, so maybe just rethink what I'm putting into my body.
No.
Yeah, yeah, no, but then you start thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
like,
sure.
yeah, I gotta rethink what I'm putting into my body, what I'm doing to myself. So it's been an interesting week.
Yeah, shout outs to Keith and Niche. But yeah, you definitely want to flip that ratio around, more water than caffeine.
100%.
But I can't speak for you, but as I get older, I need that extra boost.
Yo, it's been hard.
Because the reality is I don't get as much sleep as I would like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I get around 6 to 6.5 hours.
That's good though. I think that's kind of what I moved myself up to. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's average, but I would like to get a little more. But it's hard, and with working out and all that too, and then work. Yeah, I need that boost.
You on a regular working out regimen?
For the most part,
Okay.
I did take.
I remember when little man was born, you took a little break.
Yeah, I took off for a few months.
Yeah,
and then also after I moved, I took off for a few months. But I'm back at it. It's an integral part.
How many times a week? What you hit in a week?
3 to 4.
That's good. How long for the workouts?
I try, I keep it simple. 30 minutes, max it out, go hard in 30 minutes. There's no need to do hour-long workouts and, shit like that.
We ain't got that energy no more either.
Nah, I shorten the workout time, maximize what I'm doing, less breaks.
Okay,
get
so
it in.
Keep it intense. Keep it yeah. Nah, that's like, but since, like I was saying, with the coffee, I hit that wall around, I get tired around 8, and I hit that wall around 10, and now it's really put me to sleep.
No midday wall? You don't hit that midday wall?
Nah, that was what I thought was gonna happen. That was what I think why I was scared of quitting coffee for the longest. I thought it would just be like withdrawals and then, but I haven't been, I'll be honest with you, I haven't felt like an increase in my tiredness.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I feel like I'm also sleeping better. You know what I'm saying? Like less frequent. Not that I used to wake up, I guess, a lot, but I guess I just feel more rested now. I don't know, maybe I get that REM sleep or something like that. I wasn't hitting before. I don't know, but yeah, it's been an interesting week, man. It was crazy. I think I told y'all over text. About like a year ago, I almost got into an accident. It was a near accident. I wasn't in the accident, but it was one of those moments where I seen the car coming right at my vehicle. I was in the car with my daughter, and the only reason that vehicle didn't hit my vehicle was a FedEx truck came in between us. Like the best way I can describe it is it felt like I was about to get hit by a car, and God put a FedEx truck in between me and that car.
Divine intervention.
100%, man. And I actually saw their car go underneath the truck. They got crushed under there. They all survived. Come to find out, they all survived, and they was actually running from the cops, and that's how the accident occurred. But I was messed up a little bit off of that for a while. Like it messed with me mentally. It was giving me like panic attacks and put me, just I guess coming in terms of your own mortality. And I started working at my new job, and I would talk to a lot of FedEx drivers. And I figured like, yo, let me tell them what happened to me. Maybe they might know the dude that was driving the vehicle. And throughout the year, I would talk to different drivers, and actually got able to touch base with the dude that was driving the vehicle, and he's actually on the route of my job, which is talk about divine intervention. It was just nutty that he happens to deliver and pick up at the warehouse that I work in now. And so I got to meet him this week, and I got to talk to him and just chop it up, and it was awesome. You know what I mean? I'd let him know, because I imagine like in that moment, he said his vehicle just stopped when they got crushed underneath there. His vehicle just like he hit a wall, and so he got injured. He was out for a year, but he thought they was dead. They died. So he told, like, when he contacted his company, he was like, "Yo, this fatalities." You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is crazy. So but no one died. But I wanted to let him know that he saved a life that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that I don't think from what he told me, the police said if they would have hit a passenger vehicle, there would have definitely been fatalities. Right. Just 'cause, you know what I'm saying? So it worked out for everyone. We all lived. It worked out for everybody involved. And I'm sure the kids and the older dude that got stuck underneath there, they might have some injuries still with them, but they're still alive. Sure. Yeah, but it really put things in perspective, man. Like, this was the part that messed me up a little bit. He said he remembers right before it happened. He was at a light, and it was green, and the car before him went, and he was about to go bust the left, and he heard an ambulance siren, and he couldn't tell which direction. So he was like, "Stop! Yeah, let me chill, let me da-da-da," and then finally he seen the ambulance, and by the time the ambulance passed him, he missed the light. It turned red again, and he was like, "If I had went when it was green, or just was trying to be in a hurry, or da-da-da-da-da, or act like I didn't hear it," he was like, "I wouldn't have been there," you know what I mean? And I was like, "Yo, it's life is that precious, man." Sure. It comes in between. So it's I've been real grateful for life. It put things in perspective. But I just thought that it just fucked with me a little bit, like, to be able to meet him, to be able to meet the dude that saved your life, and it was awesome talking to him. And he said himself, he was like, he's not a super religious person, but he believes in a higher power, and he believes everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean? So. Shout out to Mike, Mike the FedEx driver, man. Word up, man. But it just I don't know, it put things in perspective. Like you find yourself. I had a weird week. Maybe it was because I quit the coffee, but like I've been off balance all week, right? And I think
sounds like somebody who quit coffee.
I did some shit at work. I fucked up. Like, it was a super easy day. I work in a warehouse, so it was gonna be like a super chill day. And I fucked some shit up that ended up giving us like 2 hours of extra work. You know what I'm saying? That we wouldn't even have had to do. And I was like, I never do shit like that. And then it was, what else happened this week that was a little off? Little things, like I'll be forgetting little things, or I would, like, you know what I'm saying? It was just like little annoyances, and it kind of, but when they all happen back to back to back, you start to feel like the world's against you. And I remember today, I had went to because on Fridays I do my cheat meal, so I went to KFC, and I was waiting on the drive-through line went through, did my order, and I hate when they do this. They be like, all right, pull around to the parking lot. You know what I mean?
We gonna come to you. Bring it out to you.
I'm like, y'all don't do nothing fast, so I know this ain't coming fast, man. And
you ever had that happen and niggas forget?
They forgot about you? No.
That happened. Like, I was outside for like 20 minutes one time. This was at McDonald's,
yeah.
bro. I was tight. I had to go up in there like, where's my food?
And who you?
And like, oh. Like, man.
Nah, but that make you want to, I want to fuck with the fast food. And then the thing with McDonald's could do that, because usually McDonald's got a big parking lot. You know what I'm saying? For you to pull around. Like 9 times out of 10.
KFC parking lots are a lot smaller.
Tight, bro. If I take you this, bro, tight. Man, they got me pull around. I couldn't even get back in the parking lot because they had the drive-through line was so long. So finally I get in there. People trying to back up their spots. People trying to get in behind me. Then I seen a dude that was online behind me pull around. And I was like, yo, they bugging right now. So I'm like literally right in front of this store. And I think this is what took me over the top. This dude came out with a parrot on his shoulder. And like
the employee that worked there?
Nah, it was a customer. He had came out and he had a parrot on his shoulder. And I don't know why. This is my pet. I don't got a lot of pet peeves, but like I think my pet peeve is literally people taking their pets.
Pun intended.
Word up, like to play. Like why? Like I seen a lady take a dog and she wasn't blind. It wasn't. And they have no orange vest on. Took her dog to church, and I'm like, come on, ma'am. You know what I mean? So I think when homeboy walked out with the parrot.
They need that support animal.
Bro, it's a food place. You gonna bring a bird? we talked about bird flu last time when he was on here. Like, I think the bird, and I like birds. Like, I probably got a weird liking of birds, and him having that bird in there, it was like, no. I think it took me on top. So I walked in, right, and I didn't even realize I came with the fury. I walked in like, yo, she told me to pull over, but there's no parking spots in the da-da-da-da-da. And then this older black lady that was behind the counter, she goes, wait a minute, what is it? Would you? And I was like, I don't know what she got me waiting on. She didn't tell me. She's like, no, what'd you order? And I was like, chicken tenders, da-da-da-da. And she's like, it's right here, baby. She's trying to she basically did like calm me down, but also like you just being silly, you just acting a damn doggy. Like we coming right now. And then she hit me with the grandma voice, and it was like
you can't even get mad at
I was like, I'm telling her have a good day. You know what I'm saying? By the end of it, but I ain't gonna I probably should have apologized and everything because I probably did come with the fury of
stop that shit. I want to be mad.
Yeah, like I'm having a bad week and y'all got me waiting here. And she refused the shit out that situation. Like I'm all like, all right, man, you got me. You right. I'm acting silly over some damn.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. So that put life in perspective also. You know what I'm saying? Like we find some things and it's easier to think the world is against you, man. And it brings us to our first topic, man. Gun control in this country. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that could have went left if it was somebody else that's not in a mental state. We hear about shootings at fast food restaurants all the time. Right. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we hear about mass shootings. We heard about the one in Uvalde, Texas. You heard about the one in Buffalo, New York. Was there another one since? I can't even. There might have. Oh, no. There was Tulsa. Bad. Tulsa, the hospital. Yeah. That was crazy. The dude went back and shot the people at the hospital. And it's such a scary thing that, like, places of worship, schools, office, you know what I'm saying, places, your workplace, to train, the dude in Brooklyn. It's like the places where you're supposed to be able to go and be able to just operate, like just be able to be at peace. You can't because of what we got going on in this country. And then you got this like population of the same country, right? The same people that are at the same vulnerabilities being like, nah, we don't want no reform on the gun control laws. We don't want you changing anything. And it's like, bro, like, so something's got to give, you know what I'm saying? There were like 7 states this week that actually changed some of their laws, New York being one of them, where you could no longer own an assault rifle at 18, now the age is 21, which I think is putting a Band-Aid on a gun wound, pun intended. You know what I'm saying? But it's like...
So you think they should have just like an all-out ban on the
Nah. And I think... it gets really dangerous. I like that you said that because I think that's what people think when you say control, right? They say, oh, no. The best thing I think that the NRA and the pro-gun administration has done is start the rumor where it's like, if you put any type of legislation on this, it's gonna lead to them taking your guns away.
Right.
Like anytime that conversation starts up, they're like, "Nah, you trying to take our guns away?"
Right.
It's trying to take, and it's like it's not there, but it's like the book Animal Farm. You know what I'm saying? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You let them start doing little things, they're gonna start taking more. You let them get an inch, they're gonna start taking a mile. You know what I'm saying? So. Right. I think that's the greatest thing as a team, as a unit, that the NRA and the pro-gun people made is like propaganda, where it's like, yo, the little bit of change that you guys make is going to make them take your guns away. So the fact that people just want to dead the conversation as soon as you do it. So I personally, not that I want to ban laws. I don't think the 18 to 21 thing really makes a difference. Now, granted, do we have 2 shooters in the past in this year that were 18 years old with assault rifles? Absolutely. So I see how it might solve that, but from 18 to 24, you still got people that the biggest people that are affected by mental health nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's still a large population out there, if not more, of within that age range that can access guns under the current, you know what I'm saying, legislation and current rules that we have now.
I mean, nothing's going to be perfect, but I think the thing to take away from it is, at the end of the day, we should do everything that we can to just try and mitigate. You know, you're never gonna stop. Like, if somebody has true intent on committing the shooting, more than likely they're gonna find a way to be able to get it done.
Yeah.
But the thought is, you shouldn't make it too easy for them to be able to do these things.
I believe the gentleman in Tulsa bought one of those firearms that day that he did the shooting at the hospital, and it's like, yeah, the less red tape that you have, the more likely that you're gonna get someone that would have been picked up by somebody else. The kid in Uvalde that shot up the school, he was sending people that he didn't even know on social media. He was sending them messages, showing them pictures of his guns. Like, it almost feels like he was crying out for help.
Right.
Like, yo, stop me before I do something bad. And
you typically see that a lot, though, in these cases where there's so many signs after the fact. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't think that we can stop mass violence attacks, because if you can't get your hands on a gun, automatic assault rifle, you get your hands on a handgun, or you'll find a way to get your hands on a knife, or you find your way.
Well, I mean, but if we're talking about a knife, I mean, the damage, in theory, is going to be a lot less.
Smaller, yeah, in theory, exactly.
Because now you're talking about hand-to-hand combat. You may get your ass whooped before you can really.
Yeah. But I think the bigger point of what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't necessarily think that these laws or changes are going to stop someone that wants to hurt somebody.
No, like I said, somebody who really wants to do it, they're going to find a way.
Exactly. But what I think it prevents is that you have to go through background checks, right? You have to go through more applications. You have to fix this type of stuff. Something might get caught where it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Maybe they need to be a little bit more in depth and
that's
realize
all that matters.
Yeah.
You know, you can only do what you can control.
You can't stop it completely, but we gotta do something, bro. It's like, I didn't think after Sandy Hook we see another school shooting, like, of elementary kids, you know what I'm saying, of that age. So it's like, but it doesn't, as terrible as that is, and it does hit your heart, all of them hurt. Oh, in a church there was a shooting, you know what I'm saying? In a supermarket there was a shooting, and it's like, all right, well, he's racially motivated. Well, this kid is just mad at the world. Well, this kid was picked up, you know what I'm saying? And this guy, he's mad at his doctor, and it's like, I think that's the core. That's what we need to really focus on, as well as the gun reform. We need to start wondering or evaluating, all right, what is the medical system doing to fail these people?
Right. Why
is this not being caught? Why are they so resistant, you know what I'm saying, to any type of treatment? And because we go anywhere, we're based off of, our safety is based off of nobody bugging the fuck out and wilding out here. And that's a really scary thought for me to live with.
Right.
It's hard, bro. It's just like, it's too much of a variable. You know what I'm saying? Just but I guess there's really no security, right? Security is like a false thing, right? It's
for sure.
It's something that we just tell ourselves. Even if I went and bought a ton of guns now, I'm not necessarily stopping myself from being a victim of anything. If anything, I might be increasing the amount that if I can hurt someone in my own house,
right,
with that. So it's like, but we do need these feelings of security. I need to feel like if I go to a live event or something like that, like I'm gonna make it out alive. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I necessarily feel like that in the current state of how things are going right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as far as the the gun debate. First and foremost, I'm not really a gun person, but I have nothing against guns. I'm not with taking away people's guns. I just think there's certain things like, for instance, an 18-year-old. I don't know what an 18-year-old needs an assault weapon for. So I don't know that, like, personally, if I had to do it, nobody under the age of 25 should be able to walk into a store and buy an assault rifle. Like, what do you need it for? Unless you're in, in the military, law enforcement, what do you need an assault rifle for? I mean, the brain, scientifically, someone 18, 20, 21, your brain ain't even fully matured yet. I just personally, I don't see what a kid that young needs an assault rifle for.
Scientifically,
so, just like adult, right? Drinking, you can't drink till you're 21. You shouldn't be able to buy or indulge in certain things until you reach of a certain age.
No, that's a good point you bring up, because scientifically, you're not an adult till you're 25, right? They say with your brain
driving, driving, you try and rent a car before you turn 25. They charge you extra bread.
Right.
Like, come on now.
You right. It's like the money. Where do these kids get the money? Like at 18 for assault? Those are expensive guns.
Are they? I don't even know how much they cost.
From what I understand, yeah, and the ammo's not cheap either. And if, like, these kids are showing up with weapons and ammo out the ass, bro. And it's like, where you get the money from, like, to do that, to support that, like. Also, I think a good law would be if your kid takes your gun and does a shooting, you got to be held responsible. Yeah,
certain states have that.
I think we need more of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that that would have stopped anything in a lot of the mass shootings this year,
but parents need to be held accountable too.
Because it needs to be a deterrent. Like, put your guns away. Like, make sure your guns is locked up. Don't let your kids.
How many stories they took the dad's gun or some shit like that? Like,
100%, man. Another story, man, that we seen in the news this week that I was like, yo, we gotta check this out. We actually just watched the video of it. Was there was a protest at the Barclays Center. WNBA game, the Liberty, New York Liberty versus Minnesota Lynx. I think that's the name. Women ran on the stage. Women ran on the court, topless, protesting basically of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Yep. They were in a support of pro-choice laws, and they actually received a standing ovation after security dragged a couple of them by the hair off the court. Some of them got escorted off very nicely as well. They basically let it be known that we gonna fuck some shit up. We gonna disturb some shit. That came off the heels of Joel Osteen's mega church.
It's my body, my choice. It's my body. My choice.
Chapter 4,
overturn girls. Hell no. My body, my choice. I am who I say I am. I do what I say I can do because I have
Chapter 4, you're welcome to. Nehemiah chapter 4, and we'll wait just one moment here, but God is good and He's on the throne and He's in control, so we'll just take one moment here and we'll get started, but I know this, I'm glad to be in the house of the Lord.
Being a protest in the middle of it where women stripped down to their underwear, their bras and panties, and shouted out pro-choice support. And basically we're doing their own form of a protest. why they chose my man Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen just be chilling, dog. Joel, he's smiling ass preacher.
I think they just did it just because of his platform. I mean,
he's such a big platform. That is true. Yeah,
that's the protesters. That's the whole point, to do it where you're gonna reach the masses.
The most eyes. I remember that when the NBA was in the bubble.
Yep.
And they were debating about how to play. They were like, well, what can we do? Because now we got the whole country's attention.
Yep.
So that is a good point. But I'm pro-choice. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't want nobody to tell me what to do with my body, so I don't really want to tell anybody what to do with theirs. But so I'm in support of what these women are doing. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ludicrous that we could try to take away a woman's right to choose after so many years of them having it. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily a fan of abortion. I'm not, you know what I'm saying, like telling people to go out there and do it. But I think to take away someone's right to choose,
they should have the choice.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's the whole key. You know what I'm saying? You can be, you can be someone who doesn't believe in abortion, but at the same time understand that, one, everybody's not the same. We all have different viewpoints, and the last thing we should have is the government telling us what. I mean, they're going to tell us what we can and can't do in so many other situations, but some of these laws that some of these states are passing, specifically down south, where no matter what, you get impregnated, whether it's rape, you got to have that baby. That's crazy. That is crazy.
You know who brought up a good point? My man Ambro, that I had him on Perfect Talk not too long ago, and he basically said, if you're against abortion, instead of taking away people's rights, why don't you do more education? And he said vasectomies, and I was like, yo, you think about it, right? Abortions, a lot of people think that's their only choice, right? But a vasectomy, let's say as a dude, you might not want to get no chicks pregnant. You might, I don't want, you know what I'm saying? I don't want a family. I don't want to do that, but you're still having unprotected sex. That's an option, right? But he said himself, he wasn't even aware of what that was until about, you know what I'm saying, a few years ago.
A vasectomy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? So he didn't know that was even an option for him, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, if I didn't know that, imagine how many people really don't, or they think it's permanent, or they don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, his look on it was like, let's get more education out there about different ways to have birth control, different ways to as opposed to just being like, nah, we just taking abortion away. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them more options in the form of education and let them know what else is out there. I mean, like, when we grew up, condoms was a thing that they was giving out. That wasn't because of pregnancy. That was because it was the AIDS epidemic. Yeah, but all right, I'm sure there's places in this country that could use a little bit of education and a little bit of programs, like handout programs, to prevent teen pregnancy, to prevent, you know what I'm saying, just in the community, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that, as opposed to these high abortion numbers. Maybe there need to be more prophylactics handouts in the neighborhood, more type of places where they could go that it's not taboo. It's not like you gave my kid condoms, you know what I'm saying, where we like, all right, let's be adults, let's be mature, and let's talk about this type of thing, because the world is changing around us, like, and you got these people holding on to the old ass way rigidly, right. Not realizing that, like, how much the shit is changing around them. You know what I mean? You see that also with the next topic I wanted to talk about was the transgender debate, right? You gotta get like, you get into like this weird zone. I feel like I can, even when we talk about it on this show, I don't want to use the wrong pronoun. I don't want to use the wrong terminology. I don't even want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the term tranny is offensive. I didn't even know that.
I mean, it sounds offensive.
It does.
I don't mean nothing by it if I say it.
No, it does.
It sounds offensive.
Yeah, but queer sounds offensive too.
It does.
But that's an acceptable term. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, well, I think it's not the Q.
Shit, I don't know.
I thought that was the LGBTQ.
Listen,
I think it is. I think that is.
I got love for everybody, but all of these, you know what I'm saying, it's just too complicated.
Too many alphabets.
Too complicated.
But it goes back to what we're saying. Like, the world is changing around us, so it's like, I've heard 3 different stories that had to do with transgenders recently. One was Caitlyn Jenner came out and said she thinks that the amount or the rise that you are seeing in transgender kids is because it's viewed as something that is trendy. Which is interesting because she's a transgender person herself. Bill Maher made a similar comment on his show where he's like, basically, now that you put it on the menu, there's certain kids that are choosing it because it's what's in, or there's certain parents that might be pushing it because they weren't even aware of it before, and now that because it's available, that might not really truly be what their kid identifies as, but because that's an option now, they might be pushing it, which I don't know if that's how I didn't think that's how it worked. You know what I'm saying? It's not like...
My take on it is kind of like everything else. I don't know that it's anything new per se, more than it is... It's something that's becoming more socially acceptable, so people are just more freely talking about it versus, oh, once upon a time these things didn't exist. They did exist. It was just in hiding. And so now you hear about it more because it's more accepted. So people are going to be more apt to talk about it. And now you're just seeing these situations far more than, you may have 10 years ago. I don't personally think that there's more transgender kids per se. I just think people are more open about it, and because it's more socially accepted, maybe now a parent is more likely to, okay, you want to do that? Let's go ahead and get this procedure done, before you're adult. Whereas maybe 5 years ago, they may have thought twice about it because of the backlash they may have received.
The third story actually was funny you said the parent, because the third one I heard was Dwayne Wade, who has a transgender child himself. And he was just talking about how lawmakers are actually making these laws that, prevent transgender girls from participating in women's sports.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I'm like, all right, you feel like that because you have a transgender kid, which is true, right? I'm not knocking him for that. But it's like, all right, well, but if you didn't have a transgender kid and you felt like a transgender kid had an unfair advantage against your daughter, would you necessarily cape up for it? You know what I'm saying? And so that's a tricky one. You know what I'm saying? The Caitlyn Jenner one, and I'll give you a second to respond to that one too, but the Caitlyn Jenner one also is kind of tricky because Caitlyn Jenner is a transgender person herself. So I guess it kind of makes her an expert, so to speak, on the subject, or at least a knowledgeable person on it. But then also it's like, well, Caitlyn Jenner, do you think it's trendy? Well, first of all, it is trendy, and that's why you did it. You know what I'm saying? Because you went the majority of your life not doing it. So that means you felt like that wouldn't have been accepted at an earlier point in your life, or maybe you just weren't at peace with it, right? But there had to be something where you looked around the landscape and was like, now is when I want to do this, as opposed to before, because maybe it would have led to what you perceive in your mind as backlash, violence, whatever the case may be towards it. But now it's like, with that acceptability, you found freedom in it. So why would we put a point of judgment and a judging finger at a child nowadays that does it? And like,
so I'm not even. Did Caitlyn say that she doesn't agree with kids doing it?
She was more so saying it's happening now at a higher rate,
right? Because
it's kind of like a trend.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, that could be true, because I mean, Caitlyn, I don't even know, maybe 5-7 years ago. But when Caitlyn came out, it wasn't. I personally don't think it was something that was like widely accepted, and so whereas versus now, it's more accepted. So people are just more willing to not come out the closet, but I'm this. Because we as a society are trying to push for equality for all. So we're saying to everybody, hey, live your truth. If you want to be this, you can be that, and you should speak out on it. Whereas 10 years ago, that's just not where we were at as a society. So yeah, I mean, just like once upon a time, if you were gay, that's not something you're going to come out and say. You, for the most part, people were in the closet once upon a time, whereas now, I mean, if you're gay, you're gay. Who gives a shit?
But wait, well, two things. Caitlyn Jenner, for all extensive purposes, is a Kardashian.
Right.
It's trendy now because you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, I think
Caitlyn Jenner,
was a trendsetter.
exactly. Like that acceptability that we have towards it now probably might be due to Caitlyn Jenner doing it.
Yes,
now we've seen it
for sure.
Exactly, and it's like, and I won't lie. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts. I know Joe Rogan said recently he had a transgender person on there. I've listened to like a podcast that I listened to had a transgender on there, and it's like. One of the things that like the girl that was on a podcast I listened to said was when she identified as a male, she first was like, "Oh, I'm gay," and it's like, but she's not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was deeper than that. It's like she thought that would, all right, well now I've found who I am, but it wasn't that. It was like she still felt like she wasn't in the right body and it wasn't the right person. So what I think happened before was maybe there were people who would have identified as transgender, but they felt like gay was their option. Right. So they went towards that because that was the closest thing to what it is now, where now they kind of have this freedom. Is like, that's...
I'm going to go full. I'm trans.
Exactly. Which is not the same, right? It's like they, you know what I'm saying? It's weird to me, and I don't mean weird like as a passing judgment. It's weird as in different to me. Like, I've heard like on that one podcast that I was listening to, it was the dude, the girl that was a transgender had a boyfriend, and her boyfriend, you know, he identified as bi, right? So he said he's done things with other dudes, but he said messing with her doesn't feel like that,
right? Because I mean, as far as he,
but she still has, male parts.
Okay,
so they have to have sex, like. Right, anally. So it would be the same, right? I guess if he was dating in that respect, if he was dating a dude. But he said, as a person that has done things on that side, it's just different. Like I said, he says it's different. He says it's not the same.
I don't see it as being. I mean, if you getting a penis in your butt and you are a male, I mean,
no. But I think he's fucking her.
But it doesn't go the other way around.
No, I don't think she fucks him.
Oh,
like, I don't think so. I don't know. From what I get, you know what I'm saying? I understand.
So how does she get off? I mean, whatever.
Well, I don't know. They didn't get into the details of what of all that. But it's what is it like? They take like hormones and stuff like that. So do they even? Like still ejaculate the same?
No clue.
Yeah, that we don't know. We don't know none of this stuff, and it's just like, yo, but it exists in our society. Like it's, and I think I don't know. Like I said, I think I do think there has to be a population of it that I don't know.
Let me say this though. What I do think is. There's nuance to everything. Yeah. Like, you know, like I said, I got love for everybody. So whether you're trans, gay, whatever, to each his own. Live your life, live your truth. And personally, like, let's take it back to sports. I'm not with, you know, like the transgender, like, for instance, females or males. It doesn't matter. Like when it comes to sports. I am not with that per se, because personally I do think there is a competitive advantage
in transgender.
If you're trans, like, and specifically
transgender women,
right? Yeah. Let's get specific here.
Yeah. You don't mind if a woman who transitions to a man.
So I don't think there will be a competitive advantage there. But just to be fair, that shouldn't be allowed either.
But then isn't that fucked up on that part? Oh, you're saying. You're doing that to be equally
right, because I don't think that
we should only discriminate against the men that turn to women.
Correct. Like it should go both ways.
But that's fucked up if it don't give you a competitive advantage and they still don't let you do it,
but then it's like, okay, you're only doing it on this side and not this side.
Separate but not equal.
Right. So like, if you're transgender, I don't think you should be.
But isn't that? I think that's the argument for the other side. They're like, oh well. We're gonna do it we're gonna let the men, the women who transition to men compete if they wanted to.
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah,
but
But since we're letting them do it, we gotta let.
So I'm just saying, off the table for everybody. Like if you're transgender, you should not be able to, and it sucks. But I personally, I think that's the only way to keep it fair, because specifically as it pertains to the women who the men who transition into women and then enter into sports, I do believe there is a competitive advantage, and that's not fair to the actual women who are competing in those sports who, I just don't think that's fair. So I think, to be fair, it just shouldn't be allowed. But I'm not against transgender people as a whole. So
wait, what if they
but I think the conversation gets messy because people say, oh, well, we can't play sports, then you don't like transgender. No, I have nothing against transgender people in general. I just think as it pertains to sports, that's a slippery slope, and it shouldn't cross over there.
So if I understand correctly, you feel like transgender people should compete against transgender people.
I don't know that there's enough to actually have your own league. So,
but that would be their only option in terms of sports.
I mean, in terms of professional sports, sure. You want to go to the,
I'm trying to help rec. Dig you out this hole.
If you want to go to the rec, do what you do. But professional and collegiate sports, I just don't. I don't see it. No, I'm not in agreement with that. So
you don't even think they can compete against each other?
If there's enough, yes, go ahead.
That'd be the only option, right? Because basically you're telling them they can't play sports at all. So you're saying if you want to play sports, you got to find a...
Similar to, women and men, they don't compete in the same leagues. Yeah. Women have their own league. Men have their own league. So if there's enough transgender people to have their own league, they should have their own league.
Yeah. I'm going to stay away from the sports conversation because I agree with you as well in terms...
Because that one instance when we was talking, like the swimming, the Penn State, that was just unfair. I mean, those women, they didn't have a chance. So, that's not right.
And she wasn't, when she identified as a man, she wasn't the best. She wasn't getting no gold medals, like from what I understand. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I get it.
But this conversation can get deep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the right solution is, because then, I mean, let's talk about the whole bathroom situation. I mean, how do you, and specifically so let me, because I may not be completely educated. So transgender, is that the appropriate term for if you had the surgery, or would that be a different term?
No, I think you still transgender without.
No, because there's a differentiation.
Yeah, because I think you have to at least have some like
if you
some type of
medical. If you still have the body parts, then it's one thing. But if you have fully transitioned, it's another thing.
No, I think you can still have the body parts. But let's say you're transgender once you have the doctor do some type of procedure in terms of your hormones, right? Because I believe in order for that athlete to compete, there had to be a hormonal test of what her testosterone level had to probably be below a certain level.
Right.
So I think once you take that step to have hormone treatment, be it or let's say body enhancement, say you decide you want to get breasts or stuff like that. Anything that involves going to a doctor to change you in some way, shape, or form, I think officially makes you transgender. I think you might be able to identify it as it,
right?
Without necessarily having to do anything as that, because the whole reason why you would have the procedure is because you felt like you were trapped in a different body than what you thought you were. So I don't think you necessarily have to. The whole identified thing nowadays doesn't. It's kind of like, well, I decided to be this, and I mean it does come down to that. I this is what I'm declaring myself as. But to your point, I think there has to be some type of medical procedure done, be it hormonal or body enhancement, that lets you good to.
It's a tricky situation.
And then what were you gonna say with the bathroom thing? That you were gonna say if you have the part, because who's gonna determine?
Yeah,
that?
It's just like I don't
who's
know.
Checking.
It's one of those things. Like I know, for instance, if I had a daughter, and now I'm really being specific. If I had a daughter, right? I wouldn't want a man, someone. I don't care if you tell yourself. I don't know.
I'm about to say Gary saying all the politically incorrect. He's trying to get us perfect talk cancer.
There's some pervs out there. There's perverts. You know what I'm saying? And there's people who will try and take advantage of certain situations. And so I don't want a dude in the bathroom with my daughter. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know what the right answer is.
Nah, and
I know I'm not against transgender people. Like I said, I'm not against anybody. To each his own. There's enough space in this world for all of us.
Well, hypothetical daughter situation, she identifies as transgender at age 7, 8, right? Mm-hmm. What do you do? How do you approach that? Like,
I mean, you can be whoever you tell yourself you are. And once you turn 18, and you are up under my wing, you're able to make your own decisions. You can do whatever you want. I'm gonna love you. I'm not, my stance, how I feel about you ain't gonna change. Mm-hmm. We're not doing no procedures while you're under my care. That's gonna be a decision that you make as an adult.
Not even a hormonal.
Nah, no. That's gonna be a decision you make as an adult.
What about wardrobe?
That's a very good question. So me as a dad, and just how I handle things now, with my son, that's a conversation. I mean, that's a decision that I leave up to mom. Mom is very, I can be, I'd say, like, kind of old school in my ways. Okay. And I know that about myself. And so I'm luckily, I have, my woman is, she's much more open-minded, and so I leave those decisions to her, and I know if she's cool with it, it's the right decision. Mm-hmm. And so it makes it easier for me. Like, if I was a single parent, I can say I may not make the right decision because in certain situations I can be stuck in my ways. But I know, whether my son, is gay, if he wants to be transgender or any of those things, do what you do. I know, we're not going to do no hormone therapy when you're an adolescent or a teenager. We're not doing that.
Now, what is your reason for that? Because you feel like they might change their mind? Yeah,
I feel like a kid. Your mind is just, that is a life-altering decision. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like you're too young to make it. And as far as going back to the wardrobe thing, okay, if I was a single parent, I know I would not let it fly. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't let your girl, like your daughter, she just wanted to dress, I guess, more like a boy.
To be honest with you, if it was my daughter, I don't think I'd have a problem with it. I'm just being honest. If you want to dress like a tomboy, go ahead, cool. I
think we're getting down to the nitty gritty.
now, if we're talking about my son, naturally, man, I'm a struggle with that. I can't really say what my ultimate decision is going to be. Mm-hmm. Like if I seen that this is what my son really is trying to do, ultimately I think I would let him ride. If this is what you want to do, fuck it. Mm-hmm. Personally, it would be challenging for me, but as I grow, I like to think I make the right decisions. I'm open-minded, even though I'm old school. I'm open-minded. It may take me a little while to catch up, but I'll get there.
Well, that's why I think it's cool that Dwayne Wade is as public as he is about it, because he don't even have to be, right? Like, I don't know any other Dwayne Wade's other kids except for the one who wasn't one of them played with LeBron or something, or am I thinking of
in high school, but not anymore. That he's already gone to the D League.
Okay.
The G League.
Okay, so yeah, that was the only one I really knew about. You know what I'm saying? I know he has a couple sons, right? Like, so, and now a daughter. So it's like, he didn't have to be as public with it as he is, but I like the fact that he is, because
I like the fact that he is. I mean, it makes it. I think it makes the conversation, I don't want to say easier to have, but just the fact that we're seeing, people that we identify as public figures, and we're able to see other people going through it, how they deal with these things. It gives us insight. And the more insight we have to anything, no matter what we're talking about, it allows us to make, in my opinion, better decisions.
Because we grew up in New York City, right? I saw two dudes kissing as a little when I was young, right? You know what I'm saying? And it was still like you have your juvenile, like, yeah, like what is going on here? But just the exposure might be the reason why I've always been accepting of gay people. Like, I've never like was like,
if you've never seen it, then the first time you see it, you're gonna be like, oh,
and it does something. It makes you feel like I think what it is we other. I heard somebody say this, but it's easy to other people, and once you other people, now you could commit the Holocaust, right? Now you could change the laws on them and be like, well, the others. You're like, even with the gun laws that we were saying, it's like, oh, you're for gun control. You're on the other side. You're trying to take my guns away. So it's like, once you know it exists in the zeitgeist, and you kind of realize like we're all you're a white man, you're a Asian woman, I'm a black guy, you know what I'm saying? But we're all in the same struggle. We're all waking up and going to work. It's easier to contextualize it because now you know it exists. But if you went 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, you're in your 20s now, the first time you're having an experience with a gay person, transgender person.
It's hard to deal with.
Yeah, because now it's like, well, your existence, and your existence isn't doing this, but for some reason in our minds as humans, your existence is saying something I was doing was wrong because what I was doing wasn't that. And I don't know why we do that. I don't know why so many people find it so easy to do that, because
I think it's natural.
Yeah, I mean, it's tribalism. Like, this is my tribe, your tribe do over there doing something different. All right, well, y'all are cannibals. And you can see religions could go to war with each other in the name of religion because they're the other. You know what I'm saying? Right. And unfortunately, that's what it is, man. But before we get out of here, I guess, you know what I'm saying, one of my favorite segments I like to do every episode is Have You Heard? And I got really one for you, man. Prosecutors, they're saying in R. Kelly's federal case, racketeering case, they're looking to get 25 years for Robert Kelly for what he's done. And that's just one case.
He's still going through that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's got another case in Chicago, I think, that he has to go through after this. So it's quite possible R. Kelly's gonna die in jail. And I never really got your opinion on the whole situation. I just think like it's really weird to look back on the whole thing because as fans we gave a blind eye, right? We've heard stories, and I didn't have nothing like all proof until we did have it, right? Until we had that video that got leaked or whatever, and you're like, yo, he's a wild boy.
Wait, what video are you talking about?
When he was having sex with the underage girl, when he peed on her, on the girl. Yeah,
that we were so young, I didn't even care. I mean, not that I didn't.
We didn't grasp what he was doing.
Right.
To the extent of what he was doing, but it was like
to me, it was just another porno.
Yeah. No. I won't say that. No, because we were what, high school?
Yeah, high school
age. We just didn't. I think our moral stance in life wasn't built yet. Like,
no, but also, I mean, once upon a time, and especially where I come from, it's not abnormal to see younger girls. I mean, the reality is historically younger girls like guys who are older than them. Mm-hmm. I mean, because they're mature, they're more mature, and so growing up, I've seen many instances where grown ass men were smashing girls, and you go back, you know, whether it be our parents' time, like that was really common. You know,
and you're not justifying.
No,
you're saying this existed.
It's wrong.
It's something that you saw.
Right.
I just want to clear that up.
So I wasn't shocked by it, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. As an adult, as a parent, it's completely wrong. It's disgusting. But I was not shocked by it.
Yeah, and I say that we were right in high school, right, and our moral compass wasn't necessarily developed into what it was yet. There was people much older than us that heard about R. Kelly, heard about the rumors, saw that video, and still probably bought his next album.
For sure. Like, let me tell you something. Like, it wasn't until I had my son when I was 34 or 33, 30. We'll just say 34. Prior to having my son, R. Kelly was the GOAT. Period. Hands down. But at 33, I knew everything he did. But it was just one of those things. Until I became a parent, it didn't hit me how disgusting that was, what he did. But prior to becoming a parent, R. Kelly was the GOAT. I still purchased every album he came out with. I still listened to his music, all of that. But once I became a parent, it just hit differently.
We knew more also when by the time you turned 34. Like we heard stuff
it
before.
wouldn't have changed. For my speaking for myself.
No. We knew more about R. Kelly. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying.
We knew the numbers. We knew what he was doing. But we didn't know the numbers were as big as they were. Or I didn't know.
For me, that wouldn't have mattered though.
So like, what changed? So what you saying? Like,
I had a kid is what changed.
You had a kid, and
once I became a parent, it just changes. It just changed my perspective on the whole situation.
You think if you didn't have a kid at that age, it'd be harder for you to?
For sure. I mean, I was 33, and before I was 33, and R. Kelly was still the GOAT. I still listen to his music.
Yeah.
I can't listen to his music now. I don't see him the same now.
Yeah.
And that's solely because I'm a parent now, and now when I listen to this nigga was smashing kids. Like, that shit is disgusting. But until I became a parent, it didn't hit like that. Mm-hmm. And that's just the reality.
Yeah. And he has kids, man. It's
But even now, I mean, there was people who were parents who was R. Kelly still a GOAT. And to each his own. I mean, if that's your perspective, I mean.
Oh, yeah, there's women out here. There's women out here probably love him now more that he's in jail.
Right.
Which is crazy. But it's I can't do it. I as a DJ, I don't play his music. I don't listen to his music. I feel very uncomfortable.
And it sucks because
he has some great music.
Man,
he was a musical genius.
Man.
Like that's two things could be right. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be a genius, or you could be a sick motherfucker, and he was both. You know what I'm saying?
And prior to becoming a parent, the way here it is. We choose how we frame things with everything in life.
Okay.
So as it pertained to R. Kelly, before I became a parent, I justified it as what he did in his personal life. That's his business. I don't get involved in that. I just focus on the music.
Yeah.
And the music is great, so that's what I love.
I think that's what a lot of people did.
And that's what a lot of people did. But once I became a parent, I couldn't separate the music from the person. Mm. You know, when I'm hearing, the lyrics of his songs, I'm just imagining you're doing this to a child. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and I don't point a finger at 2000 and early 2000s us society. I'm not like wagging my finger like, oh, we're fucked up because we let this pass, because it's easy to look back and do that. And it's like if I posted something on Twitter at the time that was acceptable and people laughed at it, then you try to bring that up years later. It's like we're looking at it through a different lens right now. Why? I really don't know.
Culturally, culturally was more acceptable.
It's
no difference than Elvis historically was known for smashing girls, not women, but girls. I mean, it's just a different era. It's no different than comics making gay jokes. Once upon a time, you could say whatever you want. Now you can't. It's just different times.
Is that why cancel? You think that's why cancel culture exists? Because we were very accepting of everything before. Like our culture was just very like, let's make fun of these people. Like you know what I'm saying?
But it's because like now we're in a space in our society where everybody should be equal. You shouldn't be able to, make fun of this group of people, that group of people, and it's wrong if you do. Whereas once upon a time, it was okay if you want to make fun of gay people, trans people, call people Indians, or make jokes and all of this stuff. Where now, I think it's just what's wrong is wrong, and if it's wrong, we're gonna call it out, and there's no tolerance for any of that.
And which I stand for. I don't like the rewind. Let's go back. And look at this through this lens. That. Yeah, like
you can't take what was culturally accepted once upon a time and now bring it into the future and say, nah, because you did that 20 years ago. Even perfect is. I'm not a Trump fan. But I would hate when people would try. Oh, in 1989, you did this to this. Like, come on.
Oh, you mean when they brought up shit from Trump's past?
Yeah, not even big on Trump. Anybody, don't bring up shit for 10, 20 years. Like that's just lame. Because it was accepted back then.
You know what's crazy too? It probably fucks R. Kelly up. Like, he see Bill Cosby out there free. Like that, she probably knew he seen Bill get out, was like, yo, they coming for me. They gonna come let me out, man. They gonna come and get me. Nah, but he's in there. He like I said, 25 years for this case is what they trying to throw at him. Probably gonna try to get him with another 25 for the next case. Like, he gotta. It's I always think about that with criminals that get away with shit for so long. like you had to at a certain point be like, after doing something crazy, right? It doesn't even. You're like, I'm never gonna get caught for this. Like you just keep doing it. I'm never gonna get caught for this. Like, and you're just getting more bold with it. You're not even taking the same precautions anymore. And the fact, like, it probably just fucks his whole head up just to just be locked up.
I mean, I seen a video maybe about 2 weeks ago. He was singing to niggas in jail.
Really?
And they, I mean, so jail is a different environment. I mean, he gets mad love in jail. So
as a pedophile.
That's the crazy part, right? But it's because of what we talk about. I mean, R. Kelly, he's still a GOAT.
He's done his work, yeah.
And so listen, the reality is, smashing young girls, it's still a thing. I mean, it's disgusting to me personally, but
it's something that exists. It happens,
still exists.
like, sadly, in our society, and definitely.
And so it's not something that may necessarily be, it's different if you're raping little girls versus, I don't know.
No, it's not different. It's
what I'm
you're
saying
not physically taking it from, you're mentally. But
right. So to me, it's no different. But I think people make a distinction because he is a pedophile, right? In jail, typically what happens to pedophiles in jail. But no, he's getting love in jail.
That is odd, bro. Yeah, it does. That's odd. Because
he's not in protective custody.
Really? Damn. So because to someone that's been locked up 20 years, in their head they went to jail and R. Kelly was the man. So they don't look at him the same. Like, yeah, damn. Man, I didn't know that, man. Also, before we get up out of here, Spec, have you heard Johnny Depp? He seemed to make out in that Amber Heard case. You know what I'm saying? Was awarded about $10 million. I think he was awarded 13, but they took away the $3 million because they capped it off at like 200,000 that you could get for that. But yeah, like came out with 10. Amber Heard, what did she get? Like I think
2 or 3 or something like that.
In her countersuit. And so Johnny Depp, well, for all intents and purposes, I mean, he was suing her for like $100 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Was he?
Some exorbitant number.
Much it was.
Yeah, he was going. I mean, so she doesn't have. I don't even think she has the money. She don't even have the 10 to pay him out for it. So it's like, so in all intents and purposes, he did win though, and you got a lot of society saying, all right, well, it was a lot of men out there that were caping up for Johnny Depp because they feel like men get falsely accused, or men get put in these situations. I don't even want to get into the male-female aspect of it, and you could if you want to. But I think it's big for people that lie on other people publicly and try to ruin people's reputations. And I think it's a bigger victory for that type of stuff because you got these people that think they could just say any old thing at any old time.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? It's going to fly. And it's like, nah, like that can't be the move.
No, for sure. I mean, from what I understand, when she originally came out with those, comments about their relationship and what she went through, he lost work, it messed up, it fucked up his paper and all of those things. And so it creates an interesting conversation because, like, let's say if you are a woman, and obviously I was not in their bedroom, so I don't really know what went on. But let's just say for all intensive purposes, she did experience, some type of abuse. Is she not allowed to talk about her abuse? I mean, if you're having a candid conversation or interview, and I mean, I don't think we could also say, yeah, you shouldn't be allowed to speak out about your experiences. I don't think you should be silenced. So it just creates this situation of like, okay, well, how can you say it? Should you not be able to talk about your experiences? And if you are, like, so it's a slippery slope.
And there's two ways to look at it, right? I think one of the problems is as a society we got to put things in black and white just because to make it simple for our mind. It's got to be, oh no, you're good or you're evil, right? There's no like gray area. So it's like if you're a victim, you better 100% be the victim, because if we find some way, shape, or form you weren't always the victim or you did things to contribute to what happened to you, it's like we crucify you for that. That's number one. And number two, what you just said is true, right? You shouldn't be stopped from speaking your story, but then tell the full story. If you're gonna come on and talk,
right,
talk.
right.
Like don't, because now you're lying. right? If you're not gonna say what you did, right? So it's two things. Like we gotta stop looking at victims of abuse as if they can't also be abusers in that same situation, which Amber Heard showed us, and I didn't need Amber Heard to show me that. Like it's a lot of evidence in life. Just because you might have got hit in the face or punched, don't mean you didn't throw punches and hit someone in the face also.
For sure, I think with those two, they both did wrong. I think
100%.
at times, but the way she basically told it initially, it just seemed one-sided.
Yeah.
So that I think that's where the issue is. Like, if you're gonna come out and speak your truth, it needs to be the full truth and not something to make somebody else look bad and then prop you up at the same time.
And we'll have more compassion for your story if you show your faults.
Right.
Right. But if your accuser comes out and shows your faults, it's like,
then you look like a liar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you kept that out on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what it has to do with it more. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of, this is a victory for men and you know what I'm saying? Like, women still gonna do what they gonna do and men still gonna do fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? Also, so it's just like, I ain't getting on that bandwagon, but I am on the bandwagon of you gonna open your mouth about somebody, you gonna have to take the consequences that come with it. You know what I'm saying? And I'd much rather be legal than physical. You know what I'm saying? So, and Johnny Depp, you know what I'm saying? He went about it. He did it. He went through the rigmarole. He went through everything you had to do. He got embarrassed in that. You know what I'm saying? His drug use got put out there, but it's what he felt had to be done. So for him to be vindicated in whatever way. So shout out to them, man. Spec, it's another episode in the books, brother. Always a pleasure doing work with you, man. Usually ask Keith where you can find him at social media. I know you ain't on social media.
So you ain't gonna find me.
Nah. So, but you can find my man Spec here on the Perfect Talk podcast. Sure. So stay tuned. You can find me on social media at Instagram at PLICCAPLAYBOY, PLICCAPLAYBOY. Also follow Perfect Talk Podcast on Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio. Check out the website, perfecttalkpodcast.com, for everything, every episode, everything that we got going on. Also, my radio show I do with my brother DJ Show, Money Talks Radio, and my other radio show, The Night Shift. Every episode of Perfect Talk Podcast is also available on Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, where all your favorite podcasts are found. Go check us out, leave a rating, leave a review. Check us out on YouTube. You know what I mean? We doing it big. Shout out to everybody out there watching the video. We just gonna keep doing what we do. Please show some love. Spec, what you watching, listening to, reading? What are you consuming right now that's holding your attention, brother?
Man, what am I watching?
Could be any sport. Could be the finals.
Yeah, I mean, as far as what am I watching, I'm a sports guy, so I mean, obviously the finals is going on right now. I'm a Yankees fan. I only watch the Yankees. I don't watch no other baseball.
Mets is doing good too.
Yeah, so, Bronx Bomber for life.
There you go.
Yeah, so I watch Yankee games damn near every day. Watch the finals basketball while it's on.
Who you think gonna take it?
Man, I mean, Boston is looking pretty strong. So it really, I know the game is on now. Actually, I don't even know who's ahead, but I mean, Boston is looking really strong.
Series is what are they up 2-1?
Can't say I was rooting for them, but they looking strong.
They are. I'm rooting for Golden State. They got me scared. They got me nervous. So by the time you hear this, hopefully series is tied up. But we'll see what it is. But what else you watching? You was about to say something else?
No, I was just as far as watching, that's really all I watch. Okay. But as far as I'm big now on reading, financial literacy.
Okay.
That's what that's really my stilo right now.
So you read a particular book or?
I'm just trying to digest everything.
Okay.
Knowledge is power. Financial literacy is gonna literally be the key to freedom.
So what are you consuming? What do you?
Just learning how to be learning about the economy, how to be a better investor. What moves the economy. That's how, when you look at the wealthiest people, they have a plethora of knowledge in the financial space. You can't even think about going from point A to point B without the tools to get there. And so personally, I can only speak for myself, but where I come from, you know, we weren't taught financial literacy. We was just taught to go to school, get good grades, to go work for somebody else. You know, I'm trying to change that. You know,
so what? I guess so someone out there who might want to do the same thing. What platforms are you like YouTube or CNBC or you know what I'm saying? Like what?
So I would not even everything. You know, YouTube. There's tons of financial literacy platforms out there on YouTube. You know, I watch CNBC a lot. You know, you need to familiarize yourself with financial terms. You can't go to Spain and not speak the language. So, you know, just as simple as learning lingo, financial lingo, that goes a long way, because when you're viewing these, you know, whether it be YouTube videos or reading financial things on, whether it be Wall Street Journal, CNBC, they use jargon. And if you don't even understand the jargon, you're just going to be reading some nonsense, some mumbo jumbo, and you're not digesting anything. Okay. So literally, I'm just a sponge right now, just trying to take it all in, you know, so I can try and better my future.
No, 100%, man. Shout out to my man SPEC. Definitely follow the path, man. You know what I'm saying? He just gave y'all some jewels right there. So hop on board with that. Always a pleasure having you on the show, brother. Hopefully many more. And we up out of here, man. Say goodbye to the people, bro.
Deuces.
Peace.